Last week, a team from the White House went to Singapore to meet with the North Koreans to set up the whole summit. That team sat on the ground for 3 days. The North Koreans never showed. There was word that they were going to go back again tonight. That was off, then it was back on. Now there is talk swirling here around the White House that, in fact, that team may be headed back to Singapore to meet with the North Koreans to get this summit back on track sometime this weekend.
What a difference a day makes. 24 hours after he sent a letter to Kim Jong-un canceling their summit, President Trump today said it might be back on.
We're going to see what happens. We're talking to them now. It was a very nice statement they put out. We'll see what happens. It could even be the 12th. We're talking to them now. They very much want to do it. We'd like to do it. We're going to see what happens.
The turnaround happened after an uncharacteristically diplomatic response from North Korea to the letter. North Korea saying it is still willing to meet the U.S. at any time in any format, adding, "We remain unchanged in our willingness to do everything we can for the peace and stability of the Korean Peninsula. We are willing to give the United States time and opportunity." President Trump responding in kind on Twitter, quote, "Very good news to receive the warm and productive statement from North Korea. We will soon see where it will lead, hopefully to long and enduring prosperity and peace. Only time and talent will tell." At the White House, aides rushed to contact their counterparts in North Korea to try to put things back together for June 12th, with the caveat that North Korea needs to be serious about coming to the table.
As the president said this morning, certainly we'd like to have a meeting, but the president's not just looking to have a meeting. He's not looking for just a cheap political stunt. He wants to get something that's a long-lasting and actual real solutions.
As the White House prepared to send back to Singapore an advance team, the North Koreans stood up last weekend. Democrats said the president should have used that as the reason for postponing the summit rather than the White House's stated rationale for canceling it, that there should be no meeting if North Korean officials are going to threaten nuclear confrontation.
What we should have done is simply announce that we were delaying the summit to a date not designated and say the reason for it was that they didn't show up to the planning meeting. If they don't show up to the planning meeting, it's hard to plan and get things done by June 12th. But by canceling it, it makes them look like they're more interested in peace than we are. That's a mistake.
And President Trump tells Fox News he has reached a deal with Xi Jinping to save Chinese telecom giant ZTE. After the U.S. Commerce Department effectively shuttered ZTE for sanctions violations in North Korea and Iran, Xi called President Trump to appeal the loss of Chinese jobs. Xi initially offered a fine of $500 million and to change out the management and board of ZTE. President Trump insisted the fine be higher, $1.5 billion. In addition to management and board changes, President Trump also wanted security guarantees and a promise that ZTE will buy most of its components from U.S. companies. Xi countered with a $1 billion fine. President Trump told Fox News they eventually settled on $1.3 billion. The announcement of a deal drew fire from the president's own party. Senator Marco Rubio tweeting, "Yes, they have a deal in mind. It's a great deal for ZTE and China. China crushes U.S. companies with no mercy, and they use these telecom companies to spy and steal from us. Many hope this time would be different. Now Congress will need to act."
Not surprisingly, Democrats were critical of the deal as well. The House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi calling it, quote, "a staggering betrayal of the American people." President Trump insisted to Fox News that he has been far tougher on ZTE than the Obama administration ever was. The Obama administration recently considered sanctions against ZTE and then backed off. President Trump telling me yesterday, "I shut down ZTE."